I unmasked the school's quietest girl, and in return, she turned my life into a viral nightmare. One click was all it took to transform me from an ordinary student into a villain hated by millions. Lara was a ghost that haunted the back row of our classroom. She was a master of being invisible, shoulders hunched, hair like a curtain, eyes perpetually anchored to the glowing rectangle of her phone. We thought she was just shy. We were wrong. She wasn't hiding from the world. She was recording it. The descent into the abyss started on a Tuesday. Boredom is a dangerous thing for a teenager with a smartphone. My friend and I had downloaded a niche video app, a digital landfill of trash content, just to see how weird the internet could get. We were scrolling through a blur of madness when a username froze the blood in my veins. Lyra Isaget. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the glass. The girl in the video wasn't the shadow from math class. This girl was a chaotic, shrieking force of nature. She had over 400,000 followers. She wasn't just posting, she was committing digital arson. I watched her scream at strangers on the street, grab people by their collars, and perform unhinged stunts that made my skin crawl. Every video had hundreds of thousands of likes. The next morning, I did the one thing you could never take back. I shared the secret. By lunch, the school was a hive of whispers. Everyone was huddled over their screens, watching the quiet girl become a monster in real time. I cornered her during the break, fueled by a smug sense of superiority. Is this really you, Lara? The girl who doesn't say a word in class? She didn't flinch. She didn't cry. She looked at me with eyes that were suddenly terrifyingly sharp. Before I could blink, her fist connected with my forehead, a dull, heavy thud that sent a shockwave through my skull. You should have stayed in the audience, she hissed, her voice a low, vibrating thread of steel. That punch was just the opening act. 2 days later, Lyra released her masterpiece. She filmed herself weeping, looking small and fragile under a soft light. She told her massive audience that I was a predator, a bully who had spent months harassing her, and that I had leaked her private life to destroy her. She showed my face. She said my name. My phone didn't just ring, it screamed. Thousands of notifications from strangers poured in. Death threats, insults, people claiming they knew where I lived. The Lyra army was hungry, and I was the main course. The story mutated, leaping from her app to TikTok and YouTube. I became a global talking point. In one corner of the web, I was a monster. In the other, people were calling Lyra a master manipulator. My life was no longer my own. It was a trending topic for millions to dissect. The end came in the principal's office. The room smelled of old paper and suppressed rage. My parents sat beside me, their faces gray with shame. Across from us sat Lyra and her father, who looked ready to burn the school down. He has orchestrated a campaign of hate, her father barked. The principal looked at me with cold, clinical disappointment. To the school, the nuances of internet fame didn't matter. They only saw the scandal and the reputation of the institution. Unless you make amends, we will have to discuss expulsion, the principal said. My mother's hand was trembling on my arm. Then, Lyra spoke. Her voice was soft, dripping with a fake vulnerability that made my stomach turn. I don't want him to be expelled, she said, looking at the principal. I just want a public apology, on my channel, to show his followers what he really is. The ride home was a suffocating silence. At home, my parents, terrified of the social stigma and the threat to my future, finally broke me. You will record the video, my father said, his voice hard and final. You will say what she wants, and this will end. It's a lie, I shouted. She's the one who doxed me. But the truth was a luxury we couldn't afford. I stood in the living room while my father held the camera. I read the script Lyra had sent, words of deep regret for bullying a defenseless girl. As I spoke those lies into the lens, watching the record light flicker like a predatory eye, I realized that Lyra hadn't just punched me. She had rewritten my reality. I wasn't just apologizing, I was being erased one viral view at a time. You're probably asking yourself, what happened next? Did I really just let her erase me? Well, they say revenge is a dish best served viral. The apology video was a massive hit. Lyra's numbers skyrocketed, and she walked the hallways like a queen who had just conquered a kingdom. She thought she had broken me. She thought that by taking my phone and my dignity, she had won. But Lyra made one fatal mistake. She assumed I was as tech illiterate as my parents. While I was grounded without my phone, I dug up my old laptop. I didn't spend my time crying. I spent it investigating. I began to track the digital footprint of Lyra Ezegut. If she wanted to live by the sword of the internet, she was going to die by it too. I discovered that Lara wasn't just a chaotic creator. She was part of a coordinated network that faked trash content interactions for clout. I found unedited footage on a private cloud server, clips she'd forgotten to secure. In them, the scared strangers she harassed were actually paid actors. Even better, I found a recording of her laughing with her friends about how she had played the school administration and manipulated her own father into threatening me. I didn't post it on my channel. I didn't want it to look like a personal vendetta. Instead, I leaked the raw, unedited footage to the very same drama accounts and commentary channels that had originally attacked me. The reversal was instant. Within 24 hours, the hashtag #LyraExposed was trending. The internet doesn't hate anything more than being lied to. Her loyal army turned into a mob in seconds. They saw the clips of her mocking the school, laughing about the fake tears she cried in the principal's office, and bragging about how easy it was to crush a nobody. The next Monday, the atmosphere in school had shifted. Lyra walked in, expecting the usual whispers of admiration, but she was met with a wall of phones, all of them playing the video of her admitting to the fraud. She was called back to the principal's office. This time, there was no fake crying. There was only the cold evidence of her deception and the fact that she had used school property to film her staged harassment videos. By the end of the week, her desk at the back of the class was empty. She didn't just leave the school, she vanished from the internet entirely, her empire deleted in a single weekend. I'm still in that school. I never got my old reputation back, but I gained something better. The knowledge that in a world of filters and scripts, the truth is the only thing you can't hit delete on. If you enjoyed this digital justice, don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment below. Have you ever dealt with a silent manipulator? Subscribe to the channel for more stories that the internet tried to hide. See you in the next one.